All right, House of Payne fans, this will be my review for Season 10, Episode 17, entitled Wandering Prince. Now, for this episode, I'm confident in saying that it's a solid 7 out of 10. It wasn't anything too amazing, but I did enjoy watching it for the most part. But I dare say, and I mean dare, because you know how this show is. One moment I'm liking a character in an episode, but then the very next episode they are insufferable. But I did find Miranda quite pleasant for the most part in this episode. The cliffhanger ending, I'm not talking about the little that's the one thing about this show now. It seems like the last minute or so is basically just like a comedic exit. You know, like a couple of characters might share a couple jokes, or there might be something that happens at another character's expense. So, you know, at the very end, there's like the Liberace versus RuPaul in terms of who's the more talented person between Floyd and CJ. But I'm talking about the scene before that, where apparently Calvin and Miranda get matched on an online dating site. And there are so many reasons why that's wrong. For, again, so many reasons, but I'll get to that as I go through the review. But before moving forward, please take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe as we are closing in on 200,000 subscribers. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. So the episode is technically split 3 ways. The main storyline being CJ is getting ready to DJ, or back in the day he was known as DJ Hot Flash, at his high school reunion, and he wants to have a all Prince music playlist for the purple picnic they're having for the reunion. Floyd and Curtis will be the, I guess you could say, the caterers, if you will. You know, based on what Floyd said, CJ is the first paying customer for them to cater their event, which continuity-wise doesn't make sense, but we'll get to that again soon enough. I'm just doing a brief rundown of the episode. And then it's a whole debate about if Prince is better than Stevie Wonder, and that leads to some feelings getting hurt, and then that's the whole CJ storyline. Lisa actually is involved in the other 2 storylines, where it seems she's trying to put together a photo album, or at least, you know, a collage of photos with all the babies in the Payne family as well as her family before her child even shows up. So I thought that was a sweet little project to do. But then she's also in the other storyline where she's helping Miranda update her online dating profile to hopefully get more options for, you know, her moving on. So those are pretty much the 3 layers of the episode. Now we start off with, again, CJ being excited about DJing the high school reunion, basically showing that some people reach their peak in high school, other people who weren't quite the cream of the crop, the popular clique, they blossom or they flourish after high school. And to be honest, this was, for most of the episode, I was really liking CJ, because I'm like, wow, it's been, you know, he is a bit over the top, cheesy, corny, but it's actually funny. And I could tell, yeah, CJ is going to be a load of fun this episode, until we get towards the midway part and it kind of falls apart. But he's excited for the reunion. Apparently, you know, he was the mascot. He had bad acne and everything. So yeah, he was pretty much a dweeb. But now, you know, hey, you know, yeah, I look good, I'm fit, you know, I might be older, but I got a great family, a successful career and all this stuff. And he apparently won a bunch of superlatives that he will get, you know, rewarded during the reunion, which is great. But the thing is, Floyd, and there's no Curtis in this episode, there's mention of Curtis, like, you know, he's, you know, out getting some stuff so he and Floyd can finish the order for the reunion, which is going to have about 300 plus people. On top of that, he's mentioned towards the end of the episode as well. And I mean, given that it's his high school reunion, wouldn't Janine go too? I mean, there's a mention of I believe, Boogie Jackson, who apparently interrupted a slow dance between Janine and CJ. And that's one of the reasons why he wanted an all Prince playlist, because of another artist that played during that dance is, basically the reason he doesn't want to play anybody else but Prince, because it was a moment in time between him and Janine. But then on top of that, the debate begins. Because, Calvin's like, okay, yeah, Prince is great, but CJ, who else are you going to have on the playlist? Oh, no, it's all Prince for the Purple Picnic. Come on, it's old school. You ain't got no Stevie Wonder. And then, Floyd mentioned some artists, but, that's obviously before, CJ and Calvin were done with high school and their respective times. So it's just one of those things where the debate begins. And I will admit, I was actually quite surprised that it wasn't a debate of Prince versus Michael Jackson, because given the black community and just online culture in general, whenever there's a measuring bar of an artist, it's always Michael Jackson this, Prince this, Whitney Houston. I mean, heck, wasn't it a couple months ago when Drake released Certified Lover Boy? I think that's the name of the album. I'm not trying to, make, throw shade at Drake, but that's how forgettable the album was to me. It's like, wow, I had to think about what the name of it was. But basically, as soon as he dropped the album, I think he controlled a majority, if not the entirety of the top 10 list on Billboard. And then it's like, ooh, is Drake today bigger than Michael Jackson at his peak? And it's just one of those things where I really thought the episode was going to go the route of bringing up Michael Jackson, but no, Stevie Wonder. And if anybody wants to know my opinion, I probably Stevie Wonder, but that doesn't mean Prince isn't amazing. I don't think I truly began to appreciate Prince music until after his passing, due to the fact that I feel like a generic fan who only really listened from like his first album up to like Purple Rain and Summer Sign of the Times. But then after he passed and I really saw that he was ahead of his time, his music evolved after each album. It's almost as if, no two albums or songs were alike, because he kept changing. So, I feel like as I get older, I mean, I'm 30 now, but I feel like as I get older, I might be able to relate to Prince's second album then more than I can, when I could when I was like 21. I don't know. I'm just saying. But I do like the aspect of the black family debates. That's not to say other cultures don't debate or anything, but I'm talking from my experience growing up in a black family. Whenever there's like a cookout or family gathering, there's going to be a debate. Either it's politics, like, why aren't you in church so much? Why don't you go to church more often? Or why are you dating that person? But then it gets to the entertainment genre, which makes it fun, because I feel like everybody can have an opinion on this. But CJ is pretty much, making some low blows to the point where it's one thing to debate and, say somebody's wrong, but then another to just go after somebody's intelligence. So the debate goes from the backyard into the living room, and they're at Curtis and Nella's house, by the way. And it's funny because this was a party episode that had me rolling. So Calvin and CJ are all up in each other's faces, and this is something I do all the time. Like when they're going back and forth, they start to insert titles of songs from Stevie Wonder and Prince into their argument, and I loved it. It was, from what was it, Housequake to I forgot what Stevie Wonder songs were mentioned, but it was really good. Ella came in pretty much, stopping the whole argument because she thought something was really wrong. So it gets to the point where Ella jumps in, and she really doesn't give an opinion, but she pretty much makes the case for, well, CJ, Prince is amazingly talented, but you shouldn't shy away from recognizing the talent of other people, because in CJ's mind, there are those who love Prince and those who have yet to, experience Prince and fall in love with him, or experience falling in love with Prince. He calls those people morons. So it was mentioned before that Floyd didn't quite finish high school. It's like, define graduating high school. And then when the debate continues, because I do think Floyd mentions like how Stevie Wonder inspired like 3 different generations of hair from like the afro to the braids to the long braids and this and that. And CJ decides to say, oh yeah, like I'm going to listen to a moron who couldn't even finish high school. And then, Floyd gets in his feeling. I'm not going to lie. I'm like this my damn self sometimes. He gets in his feelings like, oh, okay, I'm a moron, huh? So why don't you get another somebody who's not a moron to cater the class reunion? And then after that, CJ is asking Ella for the name of the caterer that took over the Women's Day at church. Now that's a good nod to continuity, because even Ella brings up Black excellence, which again is something that she brought up in the episode. I cannot remember the actual episode title. I think it was this season. It was the one where which one was it? It was the one where Curtis leaves a awful review for a Black-owned business in the area that gave him terrible service. And then Curtis is made the caterer for Ella's Women's Day at church, but he doesn't have enough time to get everything ready. And the lesson was Black excellence. Why do Black businesses have to be set at a higher expectation than everyone else? Why can't you try to resolve things as opposed to blasting somebody online? And I felt like the lesson really didn't make sense because it wasn't a fair situation. Because, I think it was episode 5, Sauce Bosses. I'm actually looking at the Wikipedia page now. And, Curtis went into an establishment that was already open and in business, and he got terrible service. So, yeah, he should be able to give an honest review. But, there's a difference between if you reach out to a company and then they still give you crappy customer service or don't, want to resolve a situation, blast their ass online. That's what it's for. But in this situation, and the reason I bring up Sauce Bosses is I can't remember what happened at the very end. I think there was a catering service that came in the last minute to, oh yeah, that's right. Because of the fact that Curtis went online to blast the restaurant about the poor service he gave. The restaurant they went to, or he blasted, was the same restaurant that was originally going to cater the Women's Day. But, and at the 11th hour, they were actually able to come through and cater the event. Because I think either Curtis apologized or they figured out something. So I guess that was the restaurant that was going to be catering the reunion, but then again, it was happening that night, so there wasn't really a lot of time. Oh yeah, that's right. Lisa knew the people that owned the business, and she was able to talk to them about, Uncle Curtis, and that's why they were able to get the catering event. Sorry about the rambling session there. I literally could not remember the context of what the catering was, but I'm not going to be mad because I'm happy whenever this show actually goes back to established continuity. So they pretty much bring up the fact that CJ, you went way too far. It's like, some people are sensitive about things like, you DJ Hot Flash and bringing up the acne. It's like, well, yeah, I cleared up. Some people are just way too sensitive about things. And that's one of the things this was why I didn't like CJ in the episode. Sure, at the very end, he goes outside. He makes things right with Floyd. He apologizes. And Floyd is like, man, I ain't going to leave you hanging looking, all raggedy out in the streets like that for your picnic. So Curtis is already delivering the food over to the high school right now. You're set and you're ready to go. So again, it's brought up about, the whole Boogie Jackson situation. And then from there, Floyd says that, it's not often that I had the experience of being around a Black family, when the Black family goes back and forth, has the debates, argues, the name calling and whatnot. So yeah, you hit me below the belt. But for one of the first times I felt like part of this family, I'm like, Floyd, you've pretty much been Ella's air quote husband for most of this season. So why all of a sudden are you saying, wow, it felt good to be part of the family for a while? I was like, what when was there any doubt that you were part of this family? Look, I'm not really complaining. It just felt completely out of nowhere. Again, it's like it wasn't bad. It was just like I didn't really see where that was coming from. And yeah, it's like, I know there are memes about, Thanksgiving clapbacks and whatnot, but whenever you go to like a black function, you better either prepare to be roasted or at the very least have some clapbacks of your own, which again is weird in a black family because when you're younger and you say something back, that's extremely disrespectful. But I mean, what? You're just supposed to let the elders or the older people in the family, throw all that shade at you and then put you in therapy? Yeah, that shit happens, Some of the stuff they say is like, okay, then you got to resolve those issues out later on. But by the end of the episode, the reunion went great. CJ all of a sudden decided to pretend Boogie was dead because they're like, oh, so what happened with Boogie Jackson? And then it turned out, oh, me and Boogie chopped it up all night. Everything was good. So from there, at the end of the episode, you got RuPaul and Liberace to debate about, which one was more talented. But that was pretty much the main storyline. And I talked briefly about the Lisa stuff, but there's a moment where she talks to Miranda in regards to, the online dating site. But here we go. So Ella explains to Lisa what a photo album is, which honestly is a bit strange because I know Lisa, Malik, Jasmine, they're the younger generation, but I'm pretty sure they would know what a photo album is. Look, I'm not harping on this, but I guess it was like to over exaggerate the fact that, yeah, in today's culture, I know internet's a big thing, but before internet, people did survive and thrive. Just know that photo albums were a thing. I did like it when Lisa was like, wait, I know, so you take all the photos on your camera, you put them all in the book, but how do people like, share, and comment on them? That was a cute scene, but again, it's like, I'm pretty sure Lisa should know what a photo album is. And Miranda's on her phone, scrolling on a dating app, trying to find new love. And, Ella is like a source of encouragement and reassurance that, hey, when you and Calvin were together, I prayed for your marriage, and though it didn't work out, you just got to move on. And Miranda, I mean, this was something that was said 2 or 3 times to her, and throughout each one, Miranda just took it with a smile. And I'm like, this is great. Just please don't forget this episode happened. So next week when we have Miranda versus Laura, apparently based on the promo, don't act like we're getting back to the whole Miranda wants Calvin back shit. It's just stupid. So over at CJ's house, Miranda comes over and sees Lisa. And they're at this dining room table, and she's pretty much describing her dating profile bio and everything. Barack and Michelle goals, educated, single, divorced mother, and, blah, 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 blah. And then after a few tweaks, not twirls, she did start, saying that she stacked from the front to the trunk or something like that. But Lisa pretty much, takes her phone, updates her bio or depiction or description on the app, and a few moments later, her phone, which was drier than a piece of chicken that wasn't already, drenched in Curtis and Floyd's barbecue sauce, all the pings kept coming in. It was like, oh, damn, ping, 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 or excuse me, I believe the phrase they use in this episode is chirp. But later on, Lisa is, chilling, and Miranda noticed her scrolling on her finger. Scrolling on the phone with her finger like she's on a dating app, which, Lisa kind of rebuttals like, no, I ain't on no dating app. Don't worry about that. It's just the fact that Malik is everything I want, and he's the man I want to spend the rest of my life with. And, Miranda's like, little Malik Payne, who I watched grow up and everything. That's the one? Okay. And then she says, he's basically all my missing pieces. He doesn't know where he wants to go in life, but he's humble, he's kind, and this and that. And then Miranda's like, that doesn't sound like marriage material to me. I really don't have anything negative here to say because, look, Miranda says what she says, but at the same time, it's like you and Calvin got married despite you conning him, or what was it, Curtis's dad, one or the other, I don't know. It's like, who are you to judge? I'm not docking points because of that. It's like, whatever. Because even though she said those snide remarks, I loved how Lisa rebutted her. And I don't mean that she did it in a disrespectful way. She's like, look, this is why Malik is the person for me. And I do find that sweet. So hopefully in the near future, no rush though, they will get engaged at some point. But regardless, she notices that, look, Miranda, it's like all these guys you're showing me because she's helping her, get out from the con artists, the scammers, the catfishers. I'm looking at the way you describe the person you're looking for, and all these men look or fit the description of Calvin. There's even one called, what is it, Cal-Vin. And it's like, our van. It's like, no, he lives in California and he likes vans. But then we go to the very end of the episode, and what is it? It is basically, again, post reunion. There's a chirp that goes off on her phone. Chirp, chirp, chirp. And they think it's Lisa or somebody else. Like, no, it's not mine. It's like, oh, that's my phone. It's like, wait, I got a match, but this person is apparently in the vicinity. And Calvin comes out of the kitchen, and all of a sudden his phone goes off and they realize their match. And then, Miranda looks shocked and Calvin looks, like, really, Miranda? And I'm wondering, why the hell did he get matched with Miranda? First of all, isn't he supposed to be engaged to Laura? So what in the world is he doing on a dating app? Now, the only way I will and look, maybe this will get explained in an upcoming episode, or this was just there for the sake of being there. And I looked, this episode was not written by Tyler Perry, so I can't blame this on him. But the only way it would make somewhat, or, some form of sense, is if, before meeting and getting engaged to Laura, Calvin did have a dating profile on an app or website, and maybe he just didn't disable it. And as a result, that's how he got pinged to Miranda. But unless that's explained in the story or the show, this is just stupid, because I feel like it's going to plant seeds for people who are hoping that these two get back together. I mean, in the last episode, Calvin said to Miranda, look, I always love you and care about you and, this and that. And I know some people thought, oh, they're getting back together. I looked at it from the point of, you're the mother of one of my children, so I'm always going to love you for it. I'm always going to love you as the mother of one of my children, or Christian specifically. I'm pretty sure Gary said the same thing to Jasmine on Sisters in season 1, back when they had children, not just one special needs child. I don't even really know how Tyler Perry forgot about that. But basically, I feel like if these two got together, this would be awful. What's funny? How in Tyler Perry shows, he always puts people back together, or puts people together that nobody wants to see. But he will split up couples that people root for from the first episode they interact, to like the last episode of a series. So wouldn't it be so hilariously bad and frustrating if Tyler Perry puts Calvin and Miranda back together on House of Payne, but breaks up Zach and Fatima on Sisters? Or how he never properly reunited Candace and Charles on the Haves and the Have-Nots. And, the list goes on from there. But with that being said, that's really all I have to say. Oh, damn, this was a long video. That's really all I have to say about Wandering Prince. 7 out of 10. I did enjoy it for what it's worth. From the Floyd, CJ, Calvin debates about musical artists, it was petty as hell, but it felt like a legit black function. I mean, even though the cookout, the barbecue was going to the high school, this felt like a black family cookout where somebody goes a bit too far, somebody gets their feelings hurt, and they have to make amends. But yeah, like I said, from the lack of Curtis, which I didn't mind it, but it's getting just way too ridiculous at this point. From Floyd saying that he felt like family for like one of the first times, and it's like, was that ever in doubt after everything you've been doing this entire season? To the Miranda chirp with Calvin, and that was pretty much it. Solid episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As I mentioned before, like and subscribe, and if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.